What's up, you beautiful chuds? It's time for another trailer reaction. I really enjoy doing these. I don't get to do them enough. The same with everything with the channel. I don't get to do anywhere near as much as I would like to, but trailer reactions I really like to do. But what they are is that I will sit here, I will watch a trailer for the first time. I haven't seen this yet. And you will get my purest, most honest reactions to it. But then also at the end of it, I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of what I think about it or what it means to whatever, whether it's a franchise or whatever it is. And this one is all based on a game because they dropped the first official teaser trailer for Resident Evil, which is directed by Zach Creggers. You will know him as Mr. Big Man now in horror, after making Barbarian and Weapons. He is, you know, obviously one of the names that they're going to with horror now. They are putting money behind Zach Creggers to go and make things, and he's making a Resident Evil movie. Well, he's made it. He's made it, and now he's put out a trailer for it. And I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed Barbarian. I enjoyed Weapons. I preferred Barbarian to Weapons. But it'd be interesting to see what he does. And I already have my opinions on Zach Creggers' movie so far, which maybe might be a bit controversial for people or whatever. You know, if you're somebody that absolutely kisses his ass, then you might not like that. But I'll talk a bit about that at the end. But we're going to get into it. So all I'm going to do is literally, I am going to click this trailer once I find it. I'm gonna get this trailer. I'm gonna watch it, and this is gonna be. I've not seen this yet. This is gonna be my first thoughts on it, and we'll see what happens. And I'm actually excited about this. It's not a Zach Creggers movie if you haven't got a house with lights outside of it. I like the fact that he's got like a visual style already. Like you can already be like, that's a Zach Creggers movie. I mean, it said it, but if you didn't know that, you probably know. It's on the blower. Just trying to make a call.
Look, I'm really sorry that we got disconnected earlier, but some things have happened.
He's running for his life.
I'm in like a seriously fucked up situation right now.
Okay. Resident Evil nod, maybe. We'll see. I'll talk about that.
And it looks like there's a chance that we might not get to talk to each other again.
Blimey. Isn't that the bloke from Dune? Oh, zombie. I thought they were. That's a weird zombie. More zombies.
I just wanted you to
That's a nice shot. He's running. What the What? They're just jumping off. The zombies have had enough. I mean, it looks good, right? Doesn't it? But then it's a trailer, so it's meant to. I mean, I suppose my takeaways from it are that it's like I sort of mentioned. Yeah, it's absolutely a Zach Creggers movie. You can tell that it is because he already still has this. He already has this sort of visual style to his movies. Like it looks. It's interesting because it looks a bit more like Barbarian in regards to like aesthetically, but then you can tell as well that he's been given, you know, a bigger budget. You can tell that he's like branching out in regards to him on a technical level, or he's constantly learning as a filmmaker, as you do on a technical level, you know, to get better and better. Um, it looks like it's got some weird zombie sort of monsters in it. You know, you've got the big guy, the big bald guy, just sitting there. I mean, I don't know if he's going to move or not, but that's a bit weird. I like the fact that it does look weird, like, you know what I mean? But then also, I don't know. I mean, I know, you know, and I've read Zach Creggers a fan of Resident Evil, but I've also read that he's not necessarily basing it too much off any of the games. So I think it's just going to be a mixture of what he does as a filmmaker and as a writer, but also based in the world of Resident Evil, I'm assuming. Um, but I like the fact that a lot of it is all like there's a lot of really cool shots. Like there's a lot of shots behind, like it feels quite a bit like the movie version of the game, because there's a lot of shots like behind the character, I noticed, um where you're almost following him like third person sort of thing, like you do in was it the Resident Evil 4, I think it is, like more like that sort of shots, um so visually it looks interesting. Of course, you've got that wild shot in there where all the, I mean, I'm assuming they're zombies jumping off the roof, so you know that that's going to be like a mad moment in the movie. But yeah, and then you've got like the weird loads of them with the legs upside down coming out the door. So it looks interesting. I like the visual style. Like the thing is when you watch that and then you start thinking about Zach Creggers as a filmmaker and so on like that, and you think, oh yeah, like remember in Barbarian though, you had like Mama or whatever you want to call her, and she was almost very Resident Evil like, in appearance, and you're like, oh okay, yeah, like that actually makes sense, because Zach Cregger knows how to do that, and can bring something like that into a Resident Evil movie, right? And then, of course, with weapons, you can see how good he is with dealing with panic at a small level, but also, building the tension and dread in a community at a small level, but also in a vast level, in a big level, and involving a few people and a few cast, and then also a large amount of cast as well. So the more I keep on thinking about it, the more I'm like sort of excited about it. The fact that Zach Cregger is making a Resident Evil, like, and also for me personally, and I know this might piss a lot of people off, because there might be people that love Resident Evil movies. I do not. I just think that they pretty much are cheap trash, that look like cheap trash, that are made by a director that makes those sort of movies. Um, and I know that might annoy people, but but that's my opinion. I'm allowed my own opinion. I don't like the Resident Evil movies. So it might be, for me, it might be like the first actually decent Resident Evil movie. The other side of that is like, how much is it a Zach Cregger movie and how much is it a Resident Evil movie? I like the fact that you've got the shot where like he's pulling out the drawers and stuff like that, like looking for things. The thing is that's what you do in like the Resident Evil games. Like the bits that I can play, not that I've played much. Like Resident Evil 4, I played the most, I think, because it wasn't really as like scary. I've said this many times before. I can't play scary games. I can watch any horror movie, but I can't do scary games. Um, so I like the fact that it almost feels like there's a lot of where he's going to be like searching for things in the movie, like, and looking for ammo, or I mean, I doubt he's looking for health. I don't think he's going to be finding that. I'm not really sure. I mean, he might have like find a candy bar or something, and that might help him. I don't know. And I don't think the herbs are going to help him unless he smokes them. Um, but um, but yeah, I like the little touches there. Like he's showing you like at least there's like a nod to the world of like what they might do. And as I said, like I like the fact that it looks as well. It looks like a lot of the time the camera is following this character from behind, so you get that sort of sense of that sort of like Resident Evil world. And there's of course zombies, and it's weird, and it looks interesting, doesn't it? Simple as that. The only thing I get worried about, but also I think like that, I don't know, that trailer, unless like the next one comes out and you start seeing like loads more characters. But what I was worried about this movie before any of this, and not knowing really much about it, is that I didn't know if Zach Cregger was able to make a full feature film that is just one full film, because every movie that he's made so far feels like different movies in one. Like we restart the movie quite a bit with Zach Cregger movies. Like in Barbarian, we're like on three people's, well, almost like four people's different journeys in the movie, and it keeps stopping and starting. And then you're like, okay, it's a bit creative, a bit different. And then we go to weapons, and he sort of does the same in weapons. So I'm like, okay, like with this guy, he came from like a sketch comedy background. Is it like he can only write parts of movie and then put them all together at the end, but like I can't really do a full movie with one character? And this movie looks like it is one character, like as in, well, from what we see, being the driving influence of the movie and stuff. So hopefully it is like a full movie where we're following this one character, because then I'll be like, okay, he can do it. And he is doing the right things, and he isn't just like constantly restarting the movie over and over again, which just because he maybe can't write a whole movie. But fingers crossed. This proves me absolutely wrong. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to Resident Evil. I like Zach Creggers. I like him. He seems like a bloody lovely guy. He's clearly a very good writer. On the podcast we've reviewed Barbarian and we haven't done Weapons, but we did do Barbarian. If you want to know what I think about Barbarian, at some point we'll do Weapons, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think it looks very entertaining, and I'm looking forward to seeing, if there's any more Resident Evil like sort of things. And anything, I was going to say anything, not anything, but fingers crossed this will be a zillion times better than anything Resident Evil we've had so far. Because the other thing as well is what's wild to me, and in fact, it's another thing with this one, is that like Resident Evil is one of the most like already made cinematic like journeys that you can go on in regards to like games, like especially things like Resident Evil 2, where you're going around Raccoon City and the police station and all the destruction in the city and stuff, and then in the police station and stuff. Like it lends itself so cinematically, but yet so far we've not had like a properly good, just basically Resident Evil 2. And it's wild to me, and for years and years I've written stuff, and I've had so many ideas of just making a Resident Evil 2 essentially movie, because it feels like it's already there. Even Resident Evil 1, you were, in this creepy house with all this shit going on. Resident Evil 4, it can be like they could do a Terminator 2 with Resident Evil 4, where it's more action horror based and stuff like that. But it's weird, isn't it? Resident Evil, like, it's such a cinematic journey, and the way that the story is told and how in depth it is. And yet they still, for me personally, they still haven't cracked it. Fingers crossed Zach Creggers has, and fingers crossed this is the movie. But I'm looking forward to it. September it says, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But let me know in the comments what you think about the trailer, whether you are looking forward to it, if you've got any concerns, if you notice things in the trailer and you're like, oh, this is from Resident Evil and that's from Resident Evil. I want to know. Pop it in the comments. And of course, if you haven't, please make sure you subscribe. I, of course, want to try and do some more trailer reactions. They are like one of the quicker things that I can do, and I enjoy doing them. Hopefully you do too. But until next time, stay creepy, fuckers.